The city was undergoing a horrific wave of violence as a result of the crack epidemic. DC in the early 1990s came to be known as the murder capital of the country.
The crime got so bad, we were losing like 400 or 500 a year, and like 2 a night were being murdered.
You got another murder victim on camera. It's over.
We were all wondering who would be next.
I arrived in DC about 10 days after then President George Herbert Walker Bush had a news conference and declared a war on drugs.
This is crack cocaine.
By Saturday of that week, I had already found a new place to buy crack. It was extraordinarily exhausting to live a double life as a crime reporter and crack addict who at times covered stories in the same neighborhoods where I made buys.
Right now, you still hear that? This is a war zone. You talking about Iraq? DC is a war zone.
I'm out there in the corner filming them. As the ambulance coming, put them in the ambulance, they be transported to the hospital. And I also went to the hospital. The person that did the shooting don't get to see that. Cause they shoot people, they run away. But I'm there captioning it on camera where I can show the pain that mother's going through who just lost her second son. I can just show all that, what it does, the impact of gun violence does to a community.
And then things started to change in the late 90s for a number of different reasons. I think the work that the police and federal law enforcement authorities did in taking down some of the major crack gangs had an impact.
That's $110 right there.
Arrests and prosecutions of some of the worst killers had an impact. Federal and local money began to pour into certain neighborhoods, and these neighborhoods began to change.
The times have definitely changed, but there's still pockets of violence still going on. But again, you know, when the new neighbor came in, you started seeing buildings that once were vacant being fixed up. You started seeing the park areas where people go out and hand the park, they started getting beautified and looking pretty. But those who were here at first were also sent away because they couldn't afford it. Rent went from like $500 to like $2,000 a month. And as the new neighborhoods coming in, they were demanding, you know, hey, if I'm be paying taxes, I want my neighborhood safe. If I'm be paying all these high taxes, I want lights in my alley. I want the trash picked up. And that was their demand. And boy, did they get it.
Washington at that time was a pretty rough place, drugs and the murder capital and things like that. So I would wander the streets, alleyways, taking a lot of interesting photographs of things that I saw that looked like they were in transition or they were from another time and they were still kind of hanging on.
You don't know if it changed for the best or did it change for the worse? Or did it change for the people or is it for just moving people in? Understand, I love change, but let's don't have someone afraid who been there for 10 years and afraid, or 30 years afraid that someone gonna push them out. Because when you push people out, where they gonna go?
Like many cities, I've heard the same thing happen. People refer to like Manhattan and places like that. It's kind of lost its soul somehow. And for me today, the city is very kind of artificial in that level. It doesn't feel, although I like the restaurants and the bars and the economic activity, I don't want these buildings to be torn down. I want them to be renovated and fixed, if anything. On the other hand, I don't get the same edge that I require as a working artist. So I have moved my energy and my vision, my viewpoints have moved somewhere else.
Some people don't even have where their next meal gonna be. Government's cutting off everything, and the Medicaid, and you can come here, bread, and get a bag. And I see they're getting bread, eggs, sometimes milk, meat, canned goods, fruit, fresh vegetables, and they line out in front of here and make sure everybody, that's excellent.
Good afternoon, thank you for calling Representative Peggy Evilette speaking. How can I help you?
This is my community. I went to school here. My mom went to school around here. It's like a generation here.
She's gonna tell you more about Bread for the City, okay? You're so welcome.
I'm still here. I ain't gone nowhere yet.
I was depicting the non-federal Washington, the Washington that was known as Chocolate City, the Washington that people call it DC or the District or District of Columbia, and not Washington DC of the politicians and the tourists. All I did was take pictures of an old DC that I would want to go back and live in. You know, I'm happy to keep moving forward.